He's Adam Luckett. I'm Nick Roush, and this is 11 Personnel presented by Monticello Bank, your partner in banking since 1895. They've got 21 locations in 15 counties across the Commonwealth. They've been helping you for a long time. They've been helping us for a long time as proud presenting sponsors of 11 Personnel. And Luckett, I noticed it feels like it's homes buying and selling season this time of year. A lot of people telling me about homes nearby. Some homes that rarely go up for sale are going up for sale. So make sure you visit NBCBank.com, get your rates, go home shopping this summer. Moving, it's a pain in the ass, but they make it a lot simpler at Monticello Bank. Make sure you're ready. You got to have your rate. You got to have that locked in before you go home buying. So go ahead, lock it in. Monticello Bank, proud presenting sponsors of 11 Personnel. Mr. Luckett, an early happy Father's Day weekend to you. You're celebrating with a little vacation. Will you be locked into the U.S. Open, the American National Championship this weekend?
I will. I think the one request I made to my wife was that I get to sit down and watch that. So definitely going to try to check that out as much as I can. But I'm going to be on the road Thursday, so it'll probably get a little radio.
There we go. Little Taylor Zarzer.
Yeah, a little Taylor Zarzer. So I'll get to enjoy some of the golf this weekend.
Is he still doing SEC games with Matt Stinchcomb? Or did Stinch got actually upgraded to the Georgia radio booth, right?
That was his brother.
Oh, okay. Okay.
John. But I can't remember if he was – I think he was still doing games because he's on the Titans. So I think he's doing a little double dip like Bob was choosing.
Or
Bob was choosing does Saturdays
Pash.
And then Jets. Yeah, Dave Pash does Saturdays with ESPN and then the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a few others that do that, the football double dip. The Panthers, what's the Friday night guy?
Anish Shroff
does that. And
look at us just rattling off our broadcast.
Wes Durham does ACC Network specials. I mean, they send him Stanford all over the place. Then he does the Falcons.
I didn't realize he was the Falcons guy.
Yeah. See, we learn all this stuff because that's on the road.
Yeah.
We turn on the Sirius and you hear all these familiar voices. And it's like, he does this. Andre Ware on with the Texans.
Yeah.
So, I got a whole Rolodex of them.
Thursday, Friday night. It's funny that Wes Durham is the Falcons guy because you forget that Georgia Bulldog fans can also cheer for the Atlanta Falcons until you hear a guy like Wes Durham talking about the Atlanta Falcons. Because the Falcons do seem, unlike the Braves, very disconnected from the state of Georgia. Like they're their own entity. And I think it's because they want it that way because they're so terrible at everything. Well, maybe not terrible all the time, but the 28-3 thing, they're just never going to be able to shake that, ever.
Yeah, they're known as kind of like the franchise that just Charlie Browns it.
Yeah.
Within their fan base, I feel like.
The Dirty Bird team it was fun, but nobody thought they should be in the Super Bowl. They upset the Vikings that year.
Yeah, and then they lost. Who did they lose to? It
was either the Rams or Elway. I think it was Elway.
It was Elway. I think it was Elway second after they beat the Packers. So, I actually think Durham and Archer, I think is the guy on with him. They're one of my favorite teams. I think they do a good job on the radio.
Mike Archer?
Not Mike Archer. Different Archer. And I don't think it's Dave Archer. They're probably all related. They're probably all from Virginia or something.
What do we think Dave Archer is doing now that he's not with Dave Baker and who is the third Dave?
Dave Neal.
Dave Neal, of course, yeah. I feel like Dave Archer is the lost of all of the three Daves because what's he doing now? Is he just golfing? Is he on the golf course?
I hope he's enjoying retirement. I hope he's getting to play some golf. So I hope he's doing okay. That would be my guess. That's what most former football player announcers do. I was listening to Joe Rogan this week. Terry Bradshaw was on there. And he was talking about when he was 40-something years old, he was he felt bad because he never worked a real job. He was just kind of on Fox. He did some motivational speaking on the side.
Right.
Had some other businesses. He felt bad he never went to a job. He just would golf every day. So he was so I went and got a job and I worked it for 2 months. And every day of that job, the job was by this golf course I was at. And I would look out and I'd see my buddies out there golfing. And he was like, what the hell am I doing? So after 6 weeks, he's like, screw this. And he's back on the golf course. So that's just what you do.
That sounds like some real Catholic guilt. just some good old-fashioned Catholic guilt, which, by the way, summer picnic this weekend is underway. Look at St. Paul's this weekend out on Wide Dixie Highway. One of the best picnics of the year, if I do say so myself. Used to be, when we were kids, really rowdy over at Dixie Manor. They cleaned it up, though. Dixie doesn't, out. It's a Hobby Lobby now. It's quite the contrast from what used to go down at the Dirty D back in the day. But I'll be they got me in the Texas Hold'em booth like it. So initially I had my heart set on showdown poker because that's easy, right? You flip them over, and then whoever has the best hand wins. I can get that. The Hold'em, though, I hope there aren't any guys from Valley Station who think that I'm screwing them over, right? Because that's the last thing you want to do.
Yeah. It can get a little interesting at the card tables. Yeah, it's picnic season. It always sneaks up on you, to me at least. So it is picnic season. Do you know which game you're dealing? Or are you just kind of?
So I've been informed that I'm the money man. That they actually have some people who have done the Hold'em dealing before and are comfortable of like holding the table, because you gotta have an air of confidence about you when you're laying the cards out, right? So I think I'm just in charge of counting the money, which I believe it's just like $2 to play, and the church gets $1. So
Yeah.
as long as I can count, I think I'm good. But we'll see how it goes. I'm excited. I do feel like we're just now getting into our get back into the church volunteering days, right? You kind of go do your thing, get a little bit older, you kids, and they bring you back in. So I'm getting reeled back in this weekend, like it, and should be nice weather. Should be not too hot. Sometimes you get out there and it's 90 degrees and you're just sweating all weekend, and that's no fun. But should be nice weather. Got a little chicken dinner. You got a favorite part of a chicken dinner?
The noodles are always
okay, good. We're on the same page there. The noodles are just top shelf.
It's a personal favorite.
Right. I will say, though, I do enjoy a summer salad. I used to be like, why would anybody want to eat this? And I was in charge of, we'd clean out garbage cans and dump all of it in there. A garbage can full of summer salad is very heavy. Do not be confused. I've been in charge of moving those suckers around. Not light work. But I'll enjoy a nice little summer salad. I enjoy plenty. Hopefully y'all get out, enjoy a summer picnic. I don't think Will Stein will be at Holy Trinity. Frying it up. Is he Holy Trinity guy, or the Stein's Holy Trinity?
Holy Spirit.
I get the two. The Falcons.
It's just all those East End schools just kind of like.
Well, they're both holies, and they're like 2 miles apart from one another. Yeah, so
you think about them about how they think about your end of town. What are all these? I don't know where these schools are. St. Dennis, St. Paul, Carmel. They all go together.
But I don't think Will Stein is going to be out in the fryer, dipping the chicken down, cutting up vegetables, dealing cards, because he's got a big recruiting weekend ahead. It is the final official visit weekend of the summer. Which the calendar's it's been a weird calendar year because Derby was later. Or no, Derby wasn't late. Like Memorial Day was as early as it could be, I want to say. It was like May 25th. So you had some official visits get moved up and everything. So that was a little weird. And it makes it to where June 19th is the final official visit weekend of the active recruiting period. So that is a little different, a little odd, a little unusual. But at the same time, like it doesn't feel like my body calendar is telling me that we should have another week of this stuff and it should keep going. But the way that this recruiting season has unfolded, it does feel like we're at the end of the road and that we got here much quicker than expected.
Right. I mean, just look at the commit list, right? Like the commit list is pretty long. Like on my computer screen, it doesn't all fit on the screen. I'll have to scroll up or down right now. We've talked about it on this program in some different mediums. Like the recruiting calendar is just moving a lot faster. You're seeing the push for commits, I think, happen earlier in April, in May. We've talked about, again, the kind of unofficial visit push in situation. where there's multi-day unofficial visits and kids are getting on campus and they're staying closer. So like what happens on official visits feels like it's happening sooner. And so we're seeing that push to end faster. And it looked like Kentucky's pretty much going to have their class done after this weekend. We'll see if like Tyler Fryman's obviously a big one they're trying to wrap up. Sean Fox is another one. But after, assuming they get those two guys, which they lead for both of them right now, that would mean 25 players in the class. And so they're sitting in a good spot right now. I know a question right here in the chat. Will Kentucky finally be in top 25 by signing day? Yeah, I mean, they're in there right now. They're 22nd, 21st, I believe. They're right there in average star rating as well. So, yeah, I think there's a pretty good chance that they can get there by that time. So we'll see how that all plays out. I believe we may have lost Nick here for a minute, so we're just gonna roll on. But a big weekend coming up. We're still working on getting that official visit list posted at KSR Plus. But Kentucky overall, with where Stein is and where the class is, I think they're sitting in a pretty good spot right now. And welcome back to the show, Mr. Roush. Thought I lost you there. Just talking about just overall being in a good spot, looking at a top 25 class here. Fox and Fryman are kind of in the crosshairs. That gets you to 25 if you can get those two. And then it almost feels like it's pretty wrapped up. I know Jaden Bayonne, that defensive tackle from Louisiana, visited. So that's another one that they're looking to go after. But overall, like commitments in general, they're pretty much wrapped up. We only have,
I mean, there's like
down,
what, 20 kids?
Just
30? 24?
Our big board has over 300 names, and we're under 100 are uncommitted right now.
Yeah.
So it's not just Kentucky thing. It's just a landscape thing. Like this whole thing is moving faster. And I mentioned the unofficial visits. The multi-day unofficial visits, I feel like have been a big change in that. It feels like the unofficial or the officials are happening before we get to June in a lot of cases.
Yeah, and I think the sort of I'm going to take my time and play out the process mindset. It's almost the players in getting paid over the table have lost some leverage a little bit in this situation, where now there's only so many spots to go around, and if you have one that's available, you kind of have to take advantage and get that spot while you can, or else somebody else comes in and takes it, right? So it feels like leverage has changed a little bit, and that's made players probably more eager to commit early on. I think when you have coaches who have front offices that are savvy, that spend time in the transfer portal, that have a good grip of their evaluation, trusting their evaluation, they're going to make a move and they're going to go for it. Take, for example, a linebacker Luckett, right? Like 2 weeks ago, we were sort of setting the table of, okay, they've got Ty Ashley. They need to get one more. Who's it going to be? They've got all these options. You had Aston Whiteside, this kid from Texas. You had Coleman, who ends up going to Georgia Tech. I forget where he's from. J.J. Mayfield from North Carolina. And then Drew Williams from Georgia. I might have even been missing one other person in that mix there. But you had like 4 or 5 guys for one spot. Mm-hmm. And while you made some good headway with Mayfield early on, he had just taken the OV to Indiana. And they seemed to get some momentum, and you aren't really sure. So Kentucky was just like, all right, we're gonna make a move right now on Drew Williams. We're gonna get our guy, and that's it. They get him to move his OV up, they get a commitment, and that's done. Whereas I think in the past, you kind of get everybody does all of their official visits, and then they decide like a week later. It leaves a lot more uncertainty. There was a lot of uncertainty. It made it fun to follow along. But now I think the people behind the scenes have have gained a little bit more leverage and their experience in the transfer portal has them working at a much more rapid rate. And I also wonder too, I wonder when, are they gonna have to wait till signing day to sign these financial agreements, or when does that happen? Because I do think that you're also going to see, at least in my opinion, it feels like the flips aren't going to be as prevalent as they were in the past.
Yeah, that's a good question. Because I think just last year's class, there were financial NIL rev share, maybe a rev share contract, was what it was, that were agreed to and I think signed on. But Kentucky, when the new staff came, they were able to get out of them. So I don't know if there was a binding document or anything like that.
Which while we're at it, there was a lot of, remember the end of last year when everybody was like, Cutter's back, he's coming back, he's got a deal. He never signed anything. Did you know that?
I heard a lot of stuff.
The offer, we did. There was a very large offer on the table, but I mean, they could have brought Stoops back, and Cutter could have just been like, I know you're giving me a lot, but I don't want it. He never signed anything. I thought that was a lesson I learned recently. Just okay.
Do you remember Stoops said it was one of the last games? Stoops said he was coming back. They're he's locked and loaded for.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think Cutter's dad that said, pump the brakes, essentially. Yeah. Right? Am I remembering that right? I think that's right.
Yeah, and I remember him saying something he didn't say that, he didn't confirm it, but he was I want to play for the University of Kentucky. It was well, that's not saying the same thing, That was some weird, funny business going on, and it's nice. This isn't to disparage Eddie Grant or the people these people that Will Stein has working for him in the front office come from Michael Wayne, the director of player personnel, was with DeBoer at Alabama and Washington and at Harbaugh at Michigan. Papiano with Dan Lanning at Oregon. This is how you're supposed to run a front office, an operation. Whereas Kentucky was kind of just a gaggle, hodgepodge of dudes from the old administration. So, I know we ventured off topic there a little bit.
I will just say about that. I do think Kentucky they obviously evaluate and put dollar figures, but I do think they've shown to be willing to ride out some storms and not overspend too much. I think what happened with CJ Baxter is obviously one. And then obviously there was the DeAndre Moore. Now that thing got a little, I think, off the rails a little bit for everybody.
Right.
But I do think they've mostly stuck to their numbers. And I do think that kind of trusting their eval has led to some good things for them. Now, of course, it's hard. The one disappointing thing about this era to me is just that it's still so hidden, everything. We don't really know, we don't know the financials. No. So it's hard to even say
they got good bang for buck or
I think there'd be some instances where I would say I really like that. From a value standpoint, I think that makes a lot of sense. And then there'd be other, obviously, instances where I don't know about paying that much for that position. But so that stuff we just don't.
Yeah.
We're in the dark on. We just don't know much about. Now, maybe moving forward, we'll have that information like they kind of do in the NFL and other pro sports leagues, but we don't really have that information right now. So it's hard to say, and it's hard to say, oh, I think they're doing a really good job balancing their budget sheet and all of that. Where really you don't know. We don't really know. So
you get an idea, generally speaking.
It's a weird middle ground. We're in a weird middle ground over here.
Yeah, which maybe we can get to that next. But I did just, you mentioned some of the marquee names that were kind of monitoring. I heard the guest list was at 14. We'll get a confirmed guest list tomorrow on KSR Plus. If you aren't subscribed, get it on the summer sale, 50% off right now when you get an annual subscription. But a lot of them are commitments, and Kentucky did get a new one over the weekend, Jalen Mercer, who maybe potential assist for Mark Pope down the road. I know Cam Mercer, his younger brother, committed to Cincinnati, but he's a year younger, top 25 player in his class playing basketball. But his big brother, Jalen, is a big defensive lineman. And, man, that's one thing I did not pull up in preparation of this because it does feel like it happened a lifetime ago when it was just 5 days. But Vince Marrow with his – Vince Marrow's tweets following this were great because – Mercer comes from Princeton High School, which is a powerhouse. When you drive through Cincinnati, it's right there next to the highway.
He just transferred there. He was at Winton Woods last year.
Another Vince Marrow.
Right. I
mean, he gets both schools. Marrow's gotten a bunch of players from. So, naturally, when he keeps seeing Kentucky stacking up Ohio commitments, a lot of people in his mentions. And the part that I love, is that he crafted a tweet where he knew that he was feeling good about it. We didn't want him anyway. We're just looking for one more missing piece. I don't know which play. I think it's probably the Glenville kid that he's definitely not going to get, that he's referring to. But he spelled peace, like peace, P-E-A-C-E. And that it was just perfect. And then he responded to a fake Joe Sloan account, which that was also great. That was a very funny. If you were having some cocktails late Friday night and you were scrolling through your phone, you probably got a good laugh after Jalen Mercer committed to Kentucky.
Yeah, that was of course the famous tweet we got. LOL because of me. I believe the day after I published that. So obviously paying attention, and then there was the Joe Sloan back and forth there, and then.
With not a real Joe Sloan account.
Right. Without with it even says a
not Joe Sloan or fake Joe Sloan.
No, it says parody or something in parentheses.
He has blue eyes.
Yeah. So that was again I've talked about this. It's gonna happen. It's gonna get heated. Again, Ohio, they're doing a really good job.
Yeah.
In Ohio, and so. Can't wait till that game. I mean, that game is going to be interesting. I'm interested in most. I mean, we're a long way away from that, but just since we're just talking here on June 17th, what's pregame like in that game?
Jeff and Stein will be cordial enough. They got the Trinity. They do their Trinity secret handshake that all the Trinity guys do together. But I think it'll be icy otherwise. Man, it is weird though. Just didn't Colby Smith play with Brian Brom? Right?
Yes.
Pete
he was on that.
Played.
Colby Smith was the running back that replaced Bush.
Right.
On that the juggernaut, the best team they ever had, the juggernaut team that lost to Rutgers.
Yeah. That team was really good.
06. That was 06. Yeah.
So that was 20 years ago. Just frame of reference. That was 20 years ago, and then. I had the other thing, too, which we'll get to our next point, because Will Stein is, he's going to tinker with sort of the in-game atmosphere stuff. When people were suggesting songs, we're a bunch of old people in a message board. We're suggesting old songs. Dreams and Nightmares was 10 years ago because the Lamar fumbled game was 10 years ago. Yeah. That was 10 years ago. I know we do this all the time on the internet, like Wildcats Tongue did it today, where DeMarcus Cousins committed to Kentucky before this Serbian kid was born. This happens to us a lot. But the Lamar fumbling game being 10 years old is just that doesn't sit well with me. It doesn't sit well with me at all.
Yeah, I think Lamar is he's about to turn 30, I'm pretty sure.
So basically, that's why the Ravens were trying to trade for Max Crosby, because they're all right, we've got 2 good Lamar years left, maybe 3.
He'll turn 30 during this football end of the season in January. But yeah, this is going to be this is his age 29 season.
Is that your favorite Governor's Cup win, or is it 07?
07 was pretty big. That was at their height.
Was
Like
that
that
when you
was
were at UK too?
it was my first year at UK. That
Oh
was when
yeah, that hits different.
that,
Yeah.
that was the height of their smack talk, their bravado, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Then and that humbled them for a minute, for a little bit. And then they got back going again.
Well,
But after that, Patino kind of hit the gas, and then they became more basketball. But that was like the height of, I would say, their football
well,
chestiness.
Patino doing his jersey thing with Maria Taylor on College Game Day before they played Florida State. That was like their peak. And then
that was the closest it got to that.
Yeah,
to what it was back then.
And then, I believe it was less than a year later he was gone because that was the Donovan Mitchell season, and this was their first NCAA tournament win since then. And then obviously, Ed Oliver ate up Lamar right before Kentucky ate up Lamar, but they really it hadn't really been the same in the last decade. The decade of the fart. Maybe connecting the dots here. Is that why they're bringing Papa John's back? Because they don't have their powers without Papa John? Is that why they gave Tom Jurich a street? Because they don't know how to live if they don't have the blessing of the turtleneck godfather.
So what you're saying is they can't move forward. They have to live in the past. To go forward, Louisville always has to go back.
Well, and that gets to, Will Stein. He came on with part of my take during their annual KSR takeover yesterday. And, I think he had sort of teased around with some of this stuff, but he did make it pretty clear because they were like, so what's your game day stuff? Is there a big song? And he's like, well, we're tinkering with it. I've got some ideas for a walkout song and, maybe do the purge horn on third down. Essentially, this was a big deal at the beginning of last year, Luckett, when we didn't get Grove Street Party in the opener, and we're like, why are they getting rid of the fun thing? I think a lot of people now would understand why they would get rid of the fun thing, but it does sound like they're getting rid of the fun thing, the Grove Street Party, the call whistle. If that all goes away, will you be sad, happy, glad, mad? What was your reaction when you heard that, Mr. Luckett?
Yeah, from first things first, I get the branding of it because you do want to. I mean, we're going to get into this later, but like it's totally new. Everything's new. New leadership. There's going to be new processes, new ways they present things. Everything's new. And even with Stein and football, I've talked about this. They're doing everything pretty much the opposite of the previous era. So we're seeing that. So obviously you want to put your own spin on things. And I actually like Stein's idea of the going back to the facility. Why do we need that locker room in the end zone?
Yeah.
Outside of halftime.
So essentially what they would do is they would walk through the fans.
Yeah, I think that I actually like that idea. I think that could be cool kind of way to do pregame. You see that, I think, in other stadiums, pregame wise, walking through like fan areas. I think that's a cool,
especially in the NFL.
Right. I think that's a cool idea. I do think like people were really, really mad when they didn't play Grove Street last year.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of forgotten about that until this. People were really mad. So I do, but part of the other way I sit on it is it's hard. It's been hard for this place to create cool stuff.
Yeah.
Like when they actually try to sit down, write it out. The cool stuff that's happened, like I can go on, like the Wildcat Claw,
the big blue drum,
the thing they did with Jared and Marcus McClinton going into the fourth quarter. It's been hard for them to like really do one. And like Grove Street happened organically, and I feel like the fan base, for the most part, likes it. So, then Cole Whistle, I think, has some fans and some people that aren't fans. I like it, but I get that. So from that, that's how I kind of sit it. Well, I get it, but also like it's been hard to create things here from a fan engagement process. So
I think, this is, I know this sounds crazy, but you can actually have some nuance here. I think it's perfectly fine for Grove Street Party to move on from it as like your pregame walkout song. But I also think if you hit it at the right time, it's going to really hit and get people fired up.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
You score a touchdown to go up in the fourth quarter. You play that song, everybody goes wild. We're immediately in our minds going to associate that with the Mark Stoops era. And you know what? I think that's kind of a good thing that is like that it lives in there because the Mark Stoops era was a lot of fun. But there are ways to find something new that can be fun. And, maybe what's old becomes new. Will Stein, he's always rocking some old logos. Maybe he brings some of that out to get.
Yeah, I think that's happening for sure. Yeah.
So like there are a lot of ways that you could still galvanize people and just do things differently. And I think overall, we've beaten this 1,000 times, but like the fact that Will Stein is thinking about this stuff is also just shows you where his mind and heart is throughout all of this. Like he is 100% all in all of the time on every single little thing. And I guess the next thing we need to discuss is the new boss he's got in town, which I forgot to make the little graphic thing. That's on me. But, that another thing that feels like it happened a week ago. I'm sure it feels like it happened 2 weeks ago because you became athletic director, beat writer over the weekend. But Jay Batt has formally been introduced as the UK athletics director, Champions Blue LLC CEO. I thought it was a little odd that they didn't do a press conference that you would see from, like a new coach hiring, not necessarily Pack Rep Arena like they did with Mark Pope, but I thought they would have had all of the donors show up to Kroger Field in that big suite, right? Like the kickoff luncheon and do he's a fundraiser for crying out loud. You'd think that they would he would kiss all their asses and do the dog and pony show, but he did just speak with media earlier this week, talked about football. And I find it very interesting online, how some people are viewing some of the quotes that he has said about the football program. Here was oh wait, no, that was different though. But essentially it was, hey, we can be good at both. And
I'll find it. Give me a minute.
We need football to be good. And the part that some of our friends on KS Board just don't understand is that it doesn't mean that there is only $100 and you have to give football $50 before you can give basketball $40. That's not what he's saying. This is a business operation, and you need your biggest moneymaker to be profitable, as profitable as you can make it. And every Saturday that stadium is not filled, you're missing out on money to give to your basketball team. This is a guy who is talking like a CEO. Like that matters. It's imperative that we support all our sports, but do not be confused. Every athletics department competing at the highest level must be successful in football. There just can't be enough money in the banana stand if football isn't bringing in revenue regularly. There's just not. There's no way around it like it.
Yeah, I just want people to just – when has basketball ever taken a backseat here?
Yeah.
I do want people to just put your common sense hat on. This is not about guy from the South coming in here and saying, no, Kentucky basketball, you're gonna have to take a back seat. That's not what this is. It's a balancing act you have to walk. But you can do it, but you have to support football, and you got to give it a chance, and you got to get asses in the seat, Nick.
Yeah.
You can't have a schedule like they had last year and not have that place sold out. I've talked about it. It was ridiculous, honestly, that they had that schedule last year in a stadium that they had downsized.
And 0 sellouts.
And you didn't have one sellout, and you had all of these marquee games, right? Ole Miss early, 3:30 kickoff, Texas at night in October, Tennessee at night in October.
Florida at night. in November.
Florida at night in November, and on a great weather night in November, if I'm remembering correctly. I think it was awesome weather. And then what was the other home game that I'm not thinking of?
Tennessee.
I think Tennessee, Texas, Ole Miss, and Florida. Right.
Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, Mitch Barnhart made it clear that is their greatest asset is Kroger Field. And, you mentioned it on the Rapid Reaction, like whether it's concerts, like that is their best moneymaker. And so you have to find ways to get that filled up as much as possible. That means fielding a competitive football team that gets fans to believe enough to buy tickets in November. And that wasn't happening previously, and it cost some money. And here's the other thing, too. Like when it talks about taking a back seat, I mean, fans were throwing it in our faces about how much money we spent over our roster. You think Milan is cheap? You think the Serbian guy they're trying to swoop in late is cheap? Like, I find it very people are still programmed in like the Stoops Cal football versus basketball fight thing, and that just it's very annoying that is still going to linger. And really, it does no good. It does no good whatsoever.
Yeah, just overall, like you have to. There was a time where Kentucky did not invest in the football program like they needed to. That I don't think that's been the case for the last 10 years. So that's going to continue. They're still going to be invested in but the basketball team is too. But I think people get confused, Nick. Like it's not a thing where you have $10 and you're going to give $5 and $5 each. Like you don't need to spend $5 to have a championship men's basketball program. But you got to spend a little more than $5 to be even competitive in football. So like football is going to get more money. But it's not about like that. Like basketball is going to be taken care of. People need to calm down about that.
Who won the national championship this year, Luckett?
That would be the Michigan Wolverines.
You think the folks in Ann Arbor were spending more on basketball than football to build that team?
Yeah, everyone knows. Like
who won the football national championship too?
That would be the fighting Indiana Hoosiers.
I think they would have said that they would rather spend all the money for a basketball national championship.
And they did spend a lot of money on their basketball roster.
Yeah, and that also gets back to, sports are still about maximizing your. You can't just buy championships unless you're Mark Story's Los Angeles Dodgers. They're the one exception. Maybe the Yankees in '97, right? Like they did pretty good at buying championships, but like baseball doesn't have a salary cap. How much was Texas Tech going to spend on their roster this year? And what did their quarterback just do? He nearly gambled them out of the sport for a year. Okay, like it matters, but you still have to identify the right players and get them all pulling on the same road. Like the sports, that hasn't changed. It's just how we're giving them money isn't in $100 handshakes. It's with a lot bigger budgets.
Yeah, all that is true. I think you made a good point. The Stoops Cal thing like broke people's brains. It's been hard, I think, for people to recover from that. Anytime it comes up, it becomes this big point.
Yeah.
But I do think it's important that, if you're resourcing both these programs, though, Nick, they got to win.
Yeah. You need some return on investment. You can't have the year that we just had in both sports.
Right. So, from a basketball standpoint, if you're spending top 10, let's just say top 10 roster money, you need to have top 10 teams. For football, like if you're in the top 25, you need to have top 25 teams. You can't go 4-8, 5-7, and then whatever the home record was. Like we went over that, right?
Yeah,
I think it was 1-11 or something. Power conference home games.
Exactly.
You can't have that. So like, if you're spending the money on both, you gotta win. And so I think Kentucky financially has done a pretty good job here these last 18 months or so about resourcing the programs, both of them. And so now it's a new era, new coach, all of that, but the wins need to arrive too. And so that's kind of where we're at. I don't think Kentucky, I think, from an administration standpoint, they have now. There was reasons for complaint how they started the NIL era, right?
Right.
Rigid, stubborn, not embracing change, fell behind. But I think that's done with now, in my opinion. And so, like, we can talk about, you can sit here and fight. Don't let, basketball slip because, again, when has Kentucky basketball ever slipped? Like, I don't understand that the mind of thinking where that comes from, but it does. But they both have to win. Like, you've got to get to where they both have to win if you're going to resource them. What gets interesting where this gets interesting is if one side wins more than the other one comes up short of expectations. How do you manage that? But as of right now, they both have come up short of expectations. So you need to see the wins. In long term, that's what you need for any athletic department to survive, be successful. For Jay Batt to be successful, those programs need to win.
Period.
I think that's just important. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Exclamation point. That's just important to remember. And you can't expect them to win if you're giving all the money to one or the other. But like Kentucky is in partnership with Mickey Mouse again. They've got money at the banana stand where they can support both these programs. So it's not a penny pinching thing. Like obviously, like Bat was hired to make sure they still have money in the reserves to do this. But as of right now, the money's coming in and they've got the money to fill rosters. So like they're not in. This is not a. I just think it gets taken to extreme. Some of this stuff, I guess, is my overall take on it.
Oh yeah. That's the internet. That's what we do.
It's June.
Yeah, which we'll get to that in 1 second. But first, I need to get to our friends at BetMGM. I know the NBA Finals and Stanley Cup Finals are over with, but there's another little tournament happening right now that's happening pretty much all the time. I've got that fever, and I'm taking my temperature daily with BetMGM. And if you haven't downloaded the BetMGM app yet, what are you doing? Get on right now and use that bonus code ON3 when you sign up. You're going to get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. So all you do is you sign up, put some money in that account. Whatever that first bet is, you win it, you get your money back, bada boom, bada bam. If not, you're getting it all back in bonus bets. You got a week to play those bonus bets. It's a great deal. It also includes 50% off an annual subscription to KSR Plus, everything on the On3 network. So use that bonus code ON3 when you sign up at BetMGM. Make this summer legendary. Make it one for the books with BetMGM. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, I read the wrong thing. See BetMGM.com for terms, 21 plus only. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, Puerto Rico. Got a gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona, 1-800-327-5050 in Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa, 1-800-981-0023 in Puerto Rico. That first bet offers for new customers only, subject to eligibility requirements. With words are non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire in 7 days in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. All right, we've got a few more Kentucky football things that I want to get to, but we've had some very spicy takes on the internet as of late. Are you aware of the internet personality Big T? Have you heard of this man before?
I have not.
So he's a Tennessee Volunteer fan who he does some stuff with Barstool Sports. And after
I know who you're talking about. I didn't know the
NBA
name, but I know who he
Finals
is. Yeah.
comeback win for the New York Knicks, he said, "Yeah, best NBA environment. Yeah, but I could name a dozen college football games that I'd rather be at than that comeback win at Madison Square Garden." That was a spicy take. I also thought the Troy baseball coach had a spicy take after they were eliminated from the College World Series. Said, "No offense to the Rose Bowl, but this is the best of the best." So, Luckett, I ask you, what is the best sporting event? We can narrow it down to just college, but if you had to pick an atmosphere, a game to attend, what would that atmosphere, what would that game be?
It's hard to beat like a big SEC regular season game, like late October, November. I mean, you could pull any out of your hat. That's hard to beat.
I love the Big T take because really my only argument against it is what you're saying and what he said is that because I'm with you, like SEC football, best environments in all of American sports. Maybe there's like European soccer where they sing and dance and all that stuff that could be really cool too.
Best regular season by a country mile.
And the argument against it is just that in basketball arenas, it's smaller, so like the noise can feel like it can just feel a lot louder because you have a roof over your head. It's kind of containing it, and the celebrity factor of MSG and just like how, I was listening to Scott Van Pelt and Stanford Steve talk about it, and it's just like, like I'm dapping up Method Man, right? Like, and then there's Larry David and Seinfeld and Tracy Morgan's cry. Like that part of it would be very just like, where am I? Like that would be
but that doesn't really appeal to me.
Not in the same way as like rushing the field to tear down goalposts,
Or even like if my team is playing like in a huge game in the playoffs, the last thing on my mind is like, man, I really hope Spike Lee's here. I really hope the Law and Order actors are here. That really makes this cooler. Like that to me, I don't know. That's like not, that doesn't make it cool to me.
Great suggestion from the chat. Army Navy. That could be a good contender for great atmospheres. I think the Rose Bowl is one of those that they're such fart sniffers about it that it does make me a little angry. But it admittedly does look really cool, the split stadium and the stakes of it all.
The pregame of it all, the Rose Bowl, and just it's probably a thing, Nick. Like I say, when I went to Alabama the first time, you could just feel
like
the heaviness of that place and just you can feel it. Where I'd imagine the Rose Bowl is pretty similar to that. Like you walk in there and you can just feel the tradition. I imagine it's probably a lot like that.
If you're asking me which game would I have rather attended, the kick six or the Knicks comeback, it's the kick six 100 times out of 100. Like that was for the like that Auburn team. They had to do that so they could go to the national championship game, and they had just won on a Hail Mary the week prior.
Yeah, my answer to this question would be the one thing about the Knicks thing that made it special was it was the first one.
Yeah, in 50 years. Yeah.
But it would have made it better if it was at their home.
Well, that is why, it wouldn't be the same now. But, like, I still get emotional when I watch American Pharaoh win the Triple Crown at the Belmont. And Larry Coleman's, American Pharaoh, the one! And then they just pan to the crowd. And it's, 100,000 people just like, in amaze, they can't believe it. Like, so, and that almost brings me back similarly to the Tennessee when they finally beat Bama after, was it what, like 11, 14 years?
Yeah, a long time. It was like Saban never lost. It was like got up to 15 or 16, I think.
Yeah, like it was a very long time. And so like their fervor there, that was very cool. But I just,
yeah.
I don't think you can beat the just energy, the juice from the stadium. Do you have
a Bears Packers playoff game is a perfect example of this from this past year.
Yeah.
Like that, like they got to do it twice, really. They did it in the regular season.
Yeah.
Then they played the same game. I think it was
the freezing cold weekend. Caleb Williams just chucking it.
To me, like the basketball tournament's cool, like obviously, and I know it's a lot of people's favorite, but from a going to it, I've been to these games. I've been to the game. Like I was at the Elite Eight game with North Carolina. It's cool environment, but it's nothing on.
It's not like a home because it's different when there is a strong 80 to 90% of one side versus like close to a split. Like it can be cool with the split. I do miss the old days where they would draw the line between Indiana and Kentucky, and they'd be playing at Freedom Hall, and then they would go to, the Hoosier Dome or wherever it may be. But it is different when there's an overwhelming favorite. Like when Kentucky won those games at Florida. I mean, obviously the streak snapping one, but even the Anthony Richardson Will Levis game back in, that was I don't. That's probably my dad's favorite Kentucky football game he's been to. The 2016 game of Lamar fumbled. I'm sure that's some people watching and listening's favorite game. There's something about being on the road and you have that roar that silences it. That is just amazing. Which that brings me just to this upcoming schedule, Mr. Luckett, because Kentucky will have opportunities to silence crowds, and one of them, I think, is the most underrated venue in college football, and that's Williams-Brice Stadium at South Carolina. It's been pretty much a night game for forever. We found out, maybe afternoon. I would be willing to bet my bottom dollar, though, Mr. Luckett, that it ends up getting flexed into a night game.
Oh, yeah, you bet. Let's talk about the schedule in totality.
Yes.
I think it's the perfect fan schedule. I really do.
Yep.
From a fan standpoint, it's the best. You're going on a road game. You're going to any road game. You're worried about noon kickoffs. Worry no more. Every road game, if you're a Kentucky fan, is 3:30 Eastern or later. So you're going to get the tailgate at all these road games. You get the TV game, the internet TV game, out early. You have to play one ESPN Plus game. It happens week 1, Youngstown State. And I've talked about already how that kind of sets up well for you. Even I think the South Alabama game, Nick, I feel like everyone is let's not waste a night kickoff on the G5 opponent. We're going to have to play at noon. Let's play that game early.
If you're a local too, that is also Bourbon and Beyond weekend. So, if you want to double dip or you want to unload one of those tickets to either event, you can, but that's also something worth considering.
And then you get all these night games. And then I actually like the Kentucky-Louisville game being played at noon personally. But
I think most are in agreement there. Especially, it's not just because of what else is happening. It's also pretty damn cold. And if you can get a sunny afternoon, then, 50 doesn't feel so bad. So yeah, I'm with you there.
Yeah, I personally just it's the end of the year. I like getting out of there and having a cold pop to cheers another football season at the end.
Well, and you never know if you're going to have to sweat out a coach leaving or not throughout the night. So it happened
2 years in a row.
3 years.
Two in the last 3 years, yeah. And then the one before we had Pretzelgate concession stand.
You think he was getting a pretzel? He seemed like more of a hot dog guy to me.
I would assume pretzels. Now that I think they've gotten rid of those big Bavarian pretzels at Kroger Field. At least last couple times I've walked to find one, I've gotten the little generic pretzel machine where they used to have the big ones that were outstanding.
We've new concessions. Cheaper concessions coming this fall, less than $5 for your hot pretzel. I've got to mention, I've made a change in my diet. We're no longer just buying the cheapest hot dogs at the Roush House. I've moved up. I've upgraded to all beef hot dogs.
You can taste the difference if you get good hot dogs. I will say that.
It really is, man. It just I don't know when it was, but you have kids. I probably only ate a hot dog at the ballpark for the 10 years of my life, but now we're buying hot dogs a little more regularly. And it costs about double, but you know what? Worth every penny, man. The all beef hot dogs. Love the all beef hot dog. If you aren't investing in the all beef hot dog, you should do it. It just tastes like you're eating, not just tube of meat, right? There's
it's
this
just it's the same with Heinz ketchup. You could tell, at least I could tell the difference. Oreos, can't buy the knockoff Oreos.
No. Which by the way, I did live up to a Lenten promise of giving up chocolate, but I love me a good Oreo every once in a while. I got the golden Oreo. Fine.
Yeah, it's not the same, but it's solid. Yeah.
Yeah. obviously not as good, but still like, yeah, I can handle this. I can do this more often. Which, hey, I got a bone to pick with you, Luckett.
Here we go.
How speaking of hot dogs, we've made it to June 17th, middle of the summer, almost All-Star break, and you have not made me aware about 3-2-1 Tuesdays at Cincinnati Reds games?
I was telling my father-in-law about it last night.
Like what? What the hell? The $3 Bud Light products, $2 hot dogs, and you weren't going to just bring this up? This feels like what Adam Luckett should be doing every Tuesday night.
Yeah, I think but now that Baker's T-ball season is over, I'm planning a road trip for the Luckett family. The only problem is they're still young for those late night games, so it's either that or run the bases on Sunday.
Send them to Grammys, you know.
But yeah, $3 can beer, $2 hot dogs, $1 ice cream cup.
So it's ice cream too? I thought it was like soda ice cream cup. Like,
yeah,
brother. Yeah, you sold. Like,
and they have the. I don't know if you've seen them at the state. I'm sure you have. They have the stores, right? You can just walk in there, grab what you want out of the. They've got it's like a gas station almost that all these stadiums have now.
You go in there, grab to wait for the
Yeah, I think
the whole time.
Yeah, the self-service. They got something similar at Kroger Field I've seen too with the beers in the fridge.
That was how I bought my first Kroger Field Bud Light. So, yeah. I just we've got to do that a Tuesday night. Jack, you basketball boys, y'all got the website tonight. We're going to crush some Bud Lights and get into trouble up on the banks. Last but not least, before we go, because we did have the Brendan Sorsby scandal in because the idiot Texas Attorney General, who was called an idiot plenty of times, threatened a lawsuit. And just by threatening the lawsuit, he gave the Big 12 enough ammunition to lawyer their way into Brendan Sorsby going into the developmental league. That was the sort of big story in the sport over the last 2 weeks. And now it has us redirecting our attention back to the Cruz Cantwell legislation, which for all intents and purposes, basically they roll it out, they try to pimp it out, they have Saban show up to Congress, and then everybody tells them why it sucks. And the SEC and Big Ten say, this is what we want you to do. And so they're getting ready to share, here's our polished up product. And I think Will Stein said it best. Doesn't really matter. None of that crap is happening. Sounds like a good idea, but I'm in the mindset I'm going to keep pushing the way it is until they literally tell me it's not happening. He said that at the Lexington Rotary Club, and he's kind of echoed the sentiments we've shared here that, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, because this is one big fat mess, and it always seems like there's too many voices speaking out that disagree. I don't even know what Tommy Tuberville was doing, but I saw him with a bunch of charts talking yesterday. So I assume he's, fighting against Ted Cruz. So, I'm just kind of with Will Stein here. Kind of agree with him.
Yeah, just he also said make them employees. Like that, he thinks that's what they need to do, which I think most people have kind of, if they weren't there already, have definitely come around on that in the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
Well, basically, like he was saying, the price of a roster is it's only increasing. So it's going to be like, I don't know, 35, 40 million or whatever. So you've got your rev share amount, whatever it is. So back to the football, basketball, like whatever you want your rev share amount to be, both the rosters are going to need more money than the university is allowed to spend. So like, regardless, it's got to come from somewhere else. And so like JMI, everything they're doing there is really important. And then this is going to be part of Jay Batt's new job, is making sure like those coffers are filled, make sure they've got enough money there. And so that's what Stein's talking about. He feels like they're in a good spot, but they've got to keep pushing. And so that's where that's at. And that's part of the football basketball thing, Nick, that's silly. Like they're going to need more money regardless, no matter how much the university is willing to fork up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're going to need outside money as of now to pay. So like it goes beyond just beyond that. It's just, and so that's what Stein was kind of talking about, basically If you want to help us, just call and say you want to donate all your money to the Kentucky football team. And that was kind of his little.
Well, he was speaking of the Rotary
pitch.
Club. I feel like that's the right, you're preaching to the right choir.
Yeah.
Which I love that coaches still do, Rotary Club speaking engagements. And what's another
QB club?
What club?
Like a QB club. That's the other big one.
Yeah, that one. They'll also have the isn't there like a Lions club where they I think that's a thing. It's they're like charity is helping people who are visually impaired. Because the Kentucky High School All-Stars, that's the sort of
Lion Clubs International.
There you go. See,
we're uniting to serve key global causes and special initiatives to address some of the greatest challenges facing our world today.
Were you in Key Club Bucket?
I was not, but I had a Knights of Columbus down the street from my house. Does that count?
I don't know what we did. I was in it though, so I could say I was in it, but I'm still not sure. Is that the same thing as Kiwanis? Or is the Kiwanis the same?
Your guess is as good as mine, buddy.
I do like the Shriners. They had the little cars and the funny hats. They're helping kids. Shriners really stonks are way up on the Shriners.
See, I just
keep those hats
growing up, I remember just Knights of Columbus.
Well, had one right back to the chicken dinners.
That had one down the street from my house. It felt like people just had stuff there, whether it was birthday parties or first communions. All of that stuff happened at the Knights of Columbus Hall. I feel like I spent 30 afternoons/evenings in my childhood at Knights of Columbus. Wedding receptions were there.
It brings us full circle. Knights of Columbus, they do our chicken dinner at St. Paul. Yeah, so
there you go.
Shout out to the Knights of Columbus for doing the Lord's work and bringing us delicious fried chicken and those wonderful peppery noodles. I even do a little extra pepper on the noodles, so I could, because I'm already I already got plenty of sodium in me, right? What's a little more gonna hurt,
Yeah,
it's gonna have to wash it down with ice cold beer. Hopefully, you get a couple ice cold cocktails this weekend. You get to enjoy some time off. All the dads out there, hopefully, you get to enjoy a little bit of U.S. Open. Do you have any picks? I
haven't really gotten to dive into it. The being a sports business reporter this week has put me behind the 8 ball on some of my other planned content. So that took up the time. I'm still on the baseball beat. Baseball transfer portal is popping right now, and then there's some big draft decisions coming up. So I haven't gotten to look too closely here. I know Shinnecock, he got a lot of. I believe this was the course that Phil double putted on the last time the U.S. Open was up here, I believe.
Yeah, they had some meltdowns. I want to say there's only been 3 under par rounds in the history of the U.S. Open at Shinnecock, which is just crazy.
So it's going to be a hit ball hard, get ball on green, par.
Right. Yeah.
Drive it far, get it on the green.
I have seen multiple people give out Russell Henley, and I feel like he's one of those guys that I always play in my little golf gambling games. And so, you know what? I guess
he gets tee to green. That would be why.
Yeah.
He can drive it far.
I'll stay riding with Russell Henry. Maybe X going to give it to you. Will Xander. Scotty, this is the only major he hasn't won. So if he does that, he could get the career Grand Slam on his. How old do you think Scotty Scheffler is going to turn on Sunday? Look at
29, 30?
It'd be 30, which I feel like he's looked mid-30s ever since he stepped on the scene.
Oh yeah, he's had the dad look, really.
Yeah.
He's the beard. The beard is a big one.
So
I saw your guy on the SVP show when I think he
Gordo.
This week. Yeah.
Yeah. If y'all want entertainment, Gordo going on the SV podcast to give out picks is just you don't have to even gamble. You don't have to care about gambling. Not everybody loves sports gambling. Hearing him talk about gambling is so funny. It's just
monopoly money. Essentially.
It's the high. It's so dumb. When you have degenerates like Stanford Steve and the SVP busting his ass for being too degenerate, that's just it's great stuff.
I did like his Sam Burns top 20 at plus 170.
There you go.
That intrigued me.
I liked seeing JT get the win at the Memorial. So I got him an exemption in the event. Hopefully he keeps that Mo going. Little Uncle Mo on his side. Keep staying hot. Where is Shinnecock in New York?
It is. I think it's in the Hamptons.
It's fun to say Shinnecock.
Yeah, it's a unique name. But like if you are into, like you said, the just carnage of a US Open.
Yeah, this is the
tournament for you. I don't love it per se because it's just kind of like you've got to be a certain type of golfer. So I think it takes a lot of people out. Like you got to be able to bomb it and you got to be able to get it on the green. But like if you're in the rough at all, there's no like artistry or anything. Like it's just
hack
good
out.
luck. Yeah, it's just good luck. So
chop away.
So yeah, I mean I don't know if it'll be the most exciting US Open, but it could be one where if some guy gets hot, he could run away from the field because everyone's going to be around probably +2 or something.
This is the time where now I have to test my brain. Was it JJ Spawn a year ago that won?
He did win a major. I cannot remember which one it was off the top of my head. It was the US Open.
Wow, great callback. Because it can, some of these guys are going to be a hard recall. Good job, Roush.
Yeah, he won it by 2 shots. He was -1 last year at Oakmont. I want to say he was near the top of the leaderboard. I think most of the tournament. So yeah, he was a first round leader there. So yeah, there's again another thing with the U.S. Open, probably more so than some other tournaments. You got to be near the leaderboard.
Oh, yeah. You are making a big move on Sunday, or
and JB Holmes.
Like, Justin Thomas making a big Sunday at the PGA.
Right.
That's just not.
And JB Holmes is playing in his first major championship since 2019. He actually
there you go, JB.
He qualified on the longest day in golf. So shout out to him making his getting another round in.
Taking another swing at former UK great JB Holmes, Campbellsville native, I want to say.
That's right.
Shout out to Taylor County, Taylor Gang.
That's right, Taylor County High, Taylor County alum.
Taylor? Okay. All right. We've had about enough time today. Look at he's going to be hitting the road shortly, doing a little vacation. We're still going to have some 11 personnel next week for you, though. What's it going to look like? I don't know. Will it be celebrating commitments for the Kentucky Wildcats? Probably. I'll be here to discuss it all. For Adam Loggett, I'm Nick Roush. Go Cats and go Kroger.